This is the time for focusing on UPSC Civil Services Mains, that the prelims has already been conducted, and very contemporary and dynamic area is international relations. We have got many requests from our students that a separate module will be of great help to them, especially in Q&A mode. Okay, the issue is international relations which are also related to current affairs will be like as if they are very familiar, but when you actually start writing there will be a problem. So our expert faculty, Ratnkar sir, will handle this module in a very unique manner, and I will introduce him to you, and he will explain you the approach and of course the modalities of the module course also. In view of COVID and interest of the candidates, the fee has been kept at very low, remarkably low. All the material will also be given. So, Ratnakar sir, please come and explain them what you would like to say.
Hi students, as sir said, we'll launch this course. This will be useful for your main examination. And as you all know, IR is a major component in your main examination. So in the main examination, what people tend to think is that we have around 60 to 80 marks in paper 2. And that means around 3 to 5 questions will be given regularly. That is what people think. But IR's prominence is even more compared to what people think. Like for example, in your essay paper also, you will have questions regarding IR. And in your paper 1 also, geography part also, you will have questions regarding IR. Like there are examples of where they ask questions regarding South China Sea. They ask questions regarding India-China border issue in your paper 1, not paper 2, mind you. So essay question also they asked about NAM, and this year also non-alignment movement is important. SARC they may ask because we have revived SARC after 5 years and 4 years to be precise. So like that, one essay question you may answer, then you may be able to answer one or two in the geography part also. Because of the issue that is happening around Senkaku, Daewoo Island, South China Sea issue, and also border issue between India and China, the line of actual control. And 3 years back, around 3-4 years back, 2 questions were asked from IR in your paper 1. So don't think that IR is important only for your paper 2. It is important for your essay paper as well as paper 1, and also international ethics is also asked in your other ethics paper as well. So having said that, so what are the important areas we need to focus regarding IR? The important areas we need to focus is, as I have told you, around 4 to 5 questions will be asked. So here the most important questions regularly what they ask is, most of the times, 90% of the times, they will ask a question on China, 90% of the times. So from China, it may be the recent border dispute, most probably they may ask you about that. It may be the South China Sea dispute, or it may be China's involvement in the Teesta River, which is there in Bangladesh. So that also they may ask, because Teesta water dispute is one of the prominent dispute between India and Bangladesh which remain unresolved. So now China is involving regarding that also. So they may ask you that. And the Senkaku Daewoo Island dispute between Japan and China also may be important. And we also have other areas like when you are talking about China, other areas like the problem between USA and China. So the technical war, technological war between USA and China, or the other disputes between USA and China regarding 5G. So the trade war between USA and China, they may ask you. The coronavirus aspect, they may ask you regarding China. So China is very, very important. One question most likely will land in your news question paper regarding China. So we'll be thorough. We can master that in a couple of classes regarding China. Then Pakistan also is important for the exam. Most of the times questions are asked from Pakistan. Like this year, we have this is the 60th year after the Indus Water Treaty was signed between India and China in 1960. So you must have heard that the Prime Minister time and again, and even other central ministers also have talked about this Indus Water Treaty. Why should we be generous with Pakistan? We are giving them water, they are giving us blood. So on that issue also, this particular aspect is very, very important. And also the Kashmir issue. They may ask Kashmir issue even in your essay paper also, because on August 5 last year, we have scrapped Article 370. What are the repercussions of that? And now there is a debate because the Abdullah, the former chief minister of Kashmir, he was talking in a different tones, saying that they may seek China's help to get back Article 370, those things. In the light of that, Article 370 is very, very important. You need to comprehensively understand what is the dispute regarding Kashmir also. So that is important. And Gilgit-Baltistan is going to become the 5th province in Pakistan. So Gilgit-Baltistan actually is in the Pak-occupied Kashmir region. So that also may be important. And the CPEC also is important, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is a part of One Belt, One Road concept of the Chinese. That is also important. And India's involvement in Afghanistan issue. So Afghan talks are happening between Taliban and the government, with Pakistan and other America and other parties there. So what is India's role? Because we have invested more than $2 billion in Afghanistan. We wanted to have, or we want now also to have a very good relation with Afghanistan. So what is happening there? So that is important. Along with that, SCO, BRICS, and AIB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, those things are also important. And there also may ask you a question on Japan. There was a meeting between the foreign ministers, 13th edition, between India and Japan. So they discussed about 5G there, they discussed about artificial intelligence, they discussed about internet. So what is the issue happening there? And another area which is important, the recent, which happened in the recent past, that is, there was a meeting, high-level meet on nuclear weapons. What is India's stand there? And SARC, again, we have to discuss, as I told you earlier. There was a meeting on the Confederation of Confidence Building Measures. There was a meeting between SARC on this issue, and how India is losing ground in the neighborhood. How is our neighborhood diplomacy? Because China is involving a lot in the neighborhood region. Now Sri Lanka is becoming close to China, or has become close to China. Bangladesh is becoming close to China. Nepal is wagging its tail, and all these problems are there. So what is the policy in the neighborhood? This you may get an essay question, as an essay question there. So if you can give good examples to that, it will be fetching you a lot of marks. So SARC revival is important. Then UNO. I told you 4 to 5 questions will be given. One will be on China, one will be on Pakistan or neighbors, one will be on UNO. Regularly questions are asked on UNO. So United Nations Organization, it's very, very important for your exam. Now this year there is likelihood of asking questions on this, because on October 24 when they meet, we are pushing forward for a seat, permanent seat in the UN Security Council. So G4 foreign ministers meeting was held recently. G4 means a group of 4 countries, including India, Germany, Brazil, and Japan. These 4 countries are pushing for a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. So Prime Minister also, you might have read, he was also buttressing the need that India should have a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. So in the light of all these aspects, this particular G4 or UNO assumes significance. We already got a non-permanent seat in the Security Council. And another important aspect in UNO is ECOSOC. A ECOSOC meet also was conducted recently regarding the outbreak of the pandemic on the coronavirus situation, and India also got elected to ECOSOC as well. So ECOSOC regularly comes in the examination. So they may ask about G4, they may ask about UN Security Council, they may ask about ECOSOC also. So we'll explain about all these aspects and also provide you the notes so that it will be quite handy for you, because there is little time for preparation for the examination, and these type of questions will fetch you a lot of marks. People, if you want to score more in your paper 2, if you want to score more in your essay paper, if you can give more examples in the answer, you will easily get a lot of marks. And apart from that, USA is also very, very important for the exam. The Quad group is important because we are trying to stand up to China in the light of the events which are happening in the last 5-6 years and predominantly in the last 4-5 months. So that is also very, very important. We are USA is pushing India to sign Basic Exchange Cooperation Agreement. Already we have signed LEMAU, already we have signed SISMAU and other agreements. So this will convert India into a defense partner of USA. So this agreement is pending. So about this agreement also they may ask you in the examination, and unlikely, but they may ask you about the postal ballot in USA and how US election is happening. May not ask, but there is also a chance of asking that. And so European Union is also important. What is happening in European Union? What is India's stance there? And what are the talks? What is the outcome of talks that were held between India and European Union? So like this, there are so many important aspects. And another most important thing is the Middle East, because now in the Middle East a couple of things of interest to India had happened. UAE had established, United Arab Emirates, where the IPL is happening now, had established friendly relations with Israel. So that is a historic moment because Israel doesn't have Muslim friends. Muslim countries hate Israel. The only countries which had developed some sort of relations with Israel is, one is Jordan, the other one is Egypt. That too after so many bloody wars with Israel. So, but now United Arab Emirates, one of the prominent members of the Gulf Cooperation Council, has established friendly relations. There is also a likelihood of other countries like Saudi Arabia also establishing friendly relations. So already Israel is a very good friend of India. So in that backdrop, the relations, and India is also a very good friend of UAE. India is also a very good friend of Saudi Arabia. Now there were some differences between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, but already India is a very good friend of UAE. India is a very good friend of Saudi Arabia. All these are very good friends. And Prime Minister of India, despite what people think about him in India, anti-Muslim stand and all, Muslim countries like the Indian Prime Minister a lot. So, for example, in the last couple of years, he was the only head of the state. I mean, head in the sense, our head of the state is the president, but the real head of the state is, of course, the Prime Minister. So, he was the only head of the state who was welcomed into the royal palace in UAE. So, that credit was given to the Indian Prime Minister. So, in this circumstances where Muslim countries like UAE are building friendly relations with Israel, India is already a friend of Israel, already a friend of Muslim countries. So how these things pan out in future, that also they may ask you in the examination. So like this, there are some 15 to 20 very, very important topics. We will deal with them in detail. Like for example, if you are dealing with Kashmir issue, we will not be dealing only the present circumstances. We will touch the history also, like the border dispute, where we will also, with China, we will also discuss what happened in the past, into how many sectors the border was divided, what is the problem now, and all these things. So that is why we are offering you this particular course. So it will be beneficial for you to decide just by listening the lectures. You may be able to answer the questions to a great extent, and we will substantiate that with providing material also, so that will help you to do well in your examination. So all the best for you. Hopefully we'll meet in a couple of days or so to take up this particular course. Thank you everyone.